A new report says the recent violence in Kazakhstan led to more than 160 deaths and around 12,000 arrests. Protests against a rise in fuel prices turned violent earlier this year. Government leaders declared a state of emergency and put a curfew in place. The Central Asian country is a former Soviet republic and has a population of around 19 million people. Joining us now from Rome is Alexey Gotovskiy, EWTN Vaticano producer and a native of Kazakhstan. Alexey, great to be with you. Talk to us about the situation in Kazakhstan right now.
Good evening, Tracy. Well, today the Kazakh National Security Committee announced the end of the state of emergency in the capital of Kazakhstan, as well as in the 13 other regions. So this means that people can go back to normal life with no curfew or checkpoints and with a consistent internet connection. However, in the southern regions of Almaty and Zhambyl, where the situation was most critical and violent, the government's so-called anti-terrorist operation is still in place. And Tracy, another important event that happened today was that around 2,500 peacekeeping troops who had come from the Collective Security Treaty Organization from countries like Russia, Belarus and Armenia have started to depart Kazakhstan. And they are expected to leave completely within 10 days. This announcement of troops leaving was welcomed by the U.S. State Department that has been urging all collective peacekeeping forces to respect human rights and fulfill their obligation to leave Kazakhstan quickly, as requested by the Kazakh government.
Alexey, I mentioned that you're originally from Kazakhstan. What are you hearing from people over there, and how have they responded to the recent violence?
Well, there are many concerns from different groups of people, but I would say that everyone in Kazakhstan is united by the hope that the new government that was formed this Tuesday will improve the social and economic situation in the country, and the justice system will act quickly to process the 10,000 people who are currently being detained, so that the peaceful protesters will be released and the violent aggressors will face justice. And I would like to remind you that Kazakhstan completely abolished the death penalty on January 2nd, and last year passed a new law that allowed for more peaceful protests. Also, the price of fuel has been lowered. So time will tell what effect all this will have on the stability of the country.
And Alexey, what about the Catholic Church? How is it doing amid the violence?
Thankfully, there were no reports on attacks or vandalism on the churches. Now, Kazakhstan is a majority Muslim country, but with an officially recognized Christian minority. For the period of the state of emergency, the faithful were advised not to gather inside the churches. And following Pope Francis' Sunday Angelus address, where he entrusted Kazakhstan to Our Lady of Ozerne, Archbishop of Astana Tomasz Peta invited the whole country to celebrate Mass today with intentions of peace and prayers for victims, and sadly, the number of victims stands at 164, including children and elderly. And Tracy, I also spoke with the Kazakh ambassador to the Holy See, Alibek Bakayev, on Monday, and he said that despite the recent tragedy and unrest, there are still high hopes that Pope Francis will accept invitation to visit Kazakhstan this year. And this will be the second visit of the Roman Pontiff after St. John Paul II apostolic trip in the country in 2001. Tracy?
Well, Alexey, thank you so much for your time today. Great to be with you.
Thank you, Tracy.